Hello, and this is a Photoshop tutorial for using layer masks for all my templates. So it doesn't matter which template you buy for Photoshop, it'll most likely have a layer mask option on it to put in your images. So just use this tutorial whenever you need to follow, and just follow along while you're doing your templates. So the first thing you want to do is open up your images and place them into the document, and you can do that one of two ways. One is go to File to Open, and locate the images on your hard drive, external hard drive, or on your computer, and select an image to put onto, we're going to start off with the right hand side of the page, so this is going to be the full image over here. So I'm just going to select a vertical image, and it's going to open up in a new window. I'm going to click that tab and drag it over so that I can see this image and the template at the same time. I'm going to click this image and drag it over to the template. Now it's going to place wherever you were already clicked on the layers. Right now I have it on the right hand side of the page, which is perfect because that's where I want it to be. Now I'm going to make sure I click this layer to select it, and I'm going to drag it just over this template in the corner so you can see how the layer mask is going to work. Now I've placed this layer, this picture, right above the layer mask that I'm going to be transferring it to. So I'm going to click the icon of the layer mask. It's the layer mask thumbnail. I'm going to click and drag it onto the image, and now it's going to transfer that layer mask. And now I no longer need the placeholder image, so I'm going to delete that. So I'm going to click and drag it down to the trash, and you'll see that there is on the image with the layer mask that there is this link on it, and this is just linking the layer mask to this image. So if I move this whole layer around, it moves the layer mask too. So you can see that that black icon in that layer mask has moved around. I'm going to hit Command Z to put it back into position. Now when I click this link off, I can freely move the image inside the layer mask. So you can see that it's disappearing where the layer mask is indicated to hide any image that's placed in there. And my image is a bit smaller than this particular area, so I can increase the size, or I can go into Lightroom and export our larger image. You want to export something that's at least 8.5 wide, because that's the width of this layer mask and this page. And for your smaller images, you can export them 5x7 and they'll fit in here, or a 3x4, or just export everything as a 7x10. But for the smaller images, but you definitely want to export something at least the size of the page that you're playing it on. So for now, I'm just going to show you how to increase the size using the transform tool. So I'm going to edit to scale, and I'm just going to use my shift key to enlarge this image to fit it into this layer mask. And I'm just making it just barely the width of this page. And I'm going to click return to set that image, and I can still move it freely within this layer mask. And I'm putting her into position, and then I'm locking the layer so that I don't have to, so when I move it, it won't fall out of place. Now the same thing applies to all the other layers, but I'm going to show you a different way of placing them in there. So on my Mac I have Preview open, and I have the folder open that I'm going to be using the images. And I'm just going to click an image and drag it over to Photoshop. So I'm clicking on another vertical image, dragging it into Photoshop, and you'll see that it'll place itself with the transform tool already into place. So I want it to be on the left hand side of the page. It's already in that folder, and you'll see the folders are indicated with left page and right page. And I'm going to put it into the middle. So I'm going to hit return to set this image in there. And that'll take the transform box off of it. And I'm going to move the image around the center of these 9-up grid, and place this image around where the center layer mask is. So it's about layer 5. Then I'm going to click the layer mask thumbnail again and drag it onto our new image. And I'm going to delete the layer mask 5 placeholder image. And again, I'm going to unlink the layer, and I'm going to use So when you want to move the image, you need to actually click on not the layer itself, but you actually need to click on the image. Otherwise, if you click on the layer, it's going to move the layer mask, and you can see right there that it's not moving the way you need it to. So click on the image itself on the layer, and then you can move that independently from the layer mask. And again, going to Edit, to Transform to Scale, holding down my Shift key to constrain the proportions, and I'm going to decrease the size of my image. And I made it just a bit too small, so I increase it a little bit more. And I'm just increasing it to the size just outside the layer mask. And click Return once I have it at the right size. And I can move it up or down. Just make sure you don't move it past the layer mask so that it all the image is showing within there, because you don't want these to be uneven. So if I leave it there, and now you can see that these boxes look uneven. You want to keep it as a nice 9-up grid. Alright, so I put that into position, I've locked it. And you just follow the same set of instructions for every image that you put in there. So I'm going to click another image, drag it over here to the template, click Return to set it, and I'm going to locate another layer to put it on. So I'm going to click the layer mask thumbnail, drag it onto my image, delete the layer with the placeholder image, unlock that layer, and click on the image on the layer to place it into position, Edit, Transform to Scale. Scale your image down to fit it just outside the bounds of the layer mask, and click Return to set it. Now I can move it into position. I want to see more of the hair. And it's good, and I'm locking the layer again. And that is it. That is how you use layer masks. So go on to the next tutorial for using type tools. I'll have that up shortly, and we'll get you set to print out your magazines.